You need to postpone, my mom said, smoothing her napkin like she was rearranging my future. Your sister's engagement party is the same weekend. I blinked slowly. My wedding is booked, deposits are paid. She's going through a lot, Mom replied as if that explained everything. This is her moment. You can be flexible. Flexible? Like the date I'd chosen after years of saving. Like the venue I toured alone because no one offered to come. Like the guest list I had already trimmed to keep the peace. Hi everyone, my name is Avery. My sister leaned back in her chair, scrolling through her phone. It's not a big deal, she said casually. People won't want to choose. Choose between my marriage and her celebration. I'm not canceling, I said calmly. Mom's eyes hardened. If you cared about this family, you would. There it was again, love measured in surrender. I looked around the table. My dad stayed silent. My sister smirked faintly. For years, I'd rearranged birthdays, holidays, even my own graduation dinner to avoid overshadowing her. This time felt different. Not louder, just clearer. Okay, I said softly. They mistook it for agreement. It wasn't. It was the moment I stopped negotiating. I didn't argue at the table. I didn't defend my date or list the non-refundable deposits or remind them that my fiancé's family had already booked flights. I just finished my water and left before dessert. In the car, I sat still for a full minute. Then I opened my wedding planner app, Guest List. I scrolled past coworkers, college friends, my fiancé's extended relatives. Then I reached the section labeled Family. My thumb hovered briefly, not because I was unsure, because I was tired. For years, I had been around my sister's needs, her spotlight, her meltdowns. My mom called it keeping peace. I called it shrinking. I selected my mom's name, removed. My sister's, removed. My dad's, removed. 3 taps. That was all it took. I emailed the venue coordinator. Please adjust final head count. Immediate update. Then I texted my fiancé. I handled it. He didn't ask what that meant. He replied, I trust you. That night, my mom called. You've had time to think, she asked coolly. Yes, I answered. And I decided not to cancel, I said. She sighed dramatically. You're being selfish. I almost smiled. No, I said gently. I'm being consistent. She didn't understand yet, but she would. The meltdown didn't start immediately. It began the next morning when my sister tried to access the wedding website. She texted first. Why can't I see the details? I didn't respond. Then my mom called. It says we're not on the guest list, she said sharply. Fix it. There's nothing to fix, I replied calmly. Silence, then disbelief. You uninvited us? She demanded. I adjusted the list, I said. My sister grabbed the phone in the background. You can't do that. It's your wedding. Exactly. I'm not choosing between events, I continued evenly. I'm choosing my peace. You're punishing us, my mom accused. No, I corrected. I'm responding. Years of rearranging my life flashed through my mind. Canceling a birthday trip because my sister had a bad week. Moving my engagement dinner because she wanted the same restaurant. You're embarrassing the family, my sister snapped. I thought about that word, embarrassing. For once, it didn't sting. If I'm not important enough to keep my date, I said softly, I'm not important enough to host you. The line went quiet. Then my dad spoke for the first time. You're making a mistake. Maybe. But it was finally mine. The group chat exploded an hour later. Aunts, cousins, family, friends who had somehow been looped in within minutes. What happened? Is this a misunderstanding? My mom had moved fast. I read the messages without reacting. I knew the script. I was impulsive, emotional, difficult. Then my sister posted a screenshot. She uninvited us because she can't handle sharing attention. There it was, the narrative forming in real time. I typed one message. My wedding date was set 18 months ago. I was asked to cancel it for my sister's engagement party. I declined. Nothing dramatic, just facts. Silence followed. My cousin replied privately, Wait, they asked you to cancel your wedding? Yes. Are you serious? Yes. The tone shifted. Not fully, but enough. My mom called again. You've turned this into a spectacle, she said, voice trembling now. No, I answered calmly. You did when you asked me to step aside. No, you're tearing the family apart, she whispered. I thought about how fragile a family must be if my boundaries could break it. I'm getting married, I said. That's all. Her voice dropped cold again. If you do this, don't expect us to come back. I exhaled slowly. I don't, I replied. They didn't back down. Instead, they escalated. My sister posted a long message online about toxic siblings who couldn't handle not being the center of attention. My mom commented underneath with a broken heart emoji and the words, "Some children forget who raised them." I read it once, then I closed the app. My fiancé found me in the kitchen that night, quiet but steady. You okay? He asked gently. I am, I said, and I meant it. Because the panic I expected to feel wasn't there, just clarity. The next morning, my mom sent one final text. If you go through with this, don't ever ask us for help again. I stared at it. I had never asked them for help. Not with the venue deposits, not with the dress, not with the down payment on our apartment. They weren't withdrawing support. They were withdrawing presence. And I had already adjusted for that. I won't, I replied simply. No argument, no paragraph, no pleading. The silence after that felt different, not tense, resolved. 2 days before the wedding, I heard from an aunt that my sister had moved her engagement party to a different weekend because attendance had dropped. People don't like ultimatums, especially when they're unnecessary. The night before the wedding, my phone rang again. Dad, I almost ignored it, but something told me to answer. You've made your point, he said quietly, not angry, not demanding, just tired. Your sister's party isn't even the same weekend anymore. I know, I replied. So, there's no reason to keep this going. I leaned against the hotel window overlooking the city lights. There was never a reason to start it, he exhaled slowly. Your mother is hurt. I was asked to cancel my wedding, I said evenly. She didn't mean it like that. How did she mean it? He didn't answer. Instead, he shifted tactics. Families compromise. I did, I said, for years. The silence stretched between us. You're really going through with this? He asked finally. Yes. And you're okay if we're not there? I thought about walking down the aisle, about standing beside the man who never asked me to shrink, about building a life that didn't require approval. I'm okay if I'm there, I said softly. He didn't argue again. He just said, I hope you don't regret it. I won't, I replied, and I meant that too. The morning of the wedding arrived quiet. No frantic texts, no dramatic threats, just silence from their side. I stood in the bridal suite, dress hanging perfectly against the light, my closest friends adjusting my veil. No one mentioned my family. They didn't need to. The ceremony space glowed softly with candlelight. Every chair was filled, just not with them. When the music began, my heart didn't race from anxiety. It steadied. I walked down the aisle without scanning the crowd for my mother's expression, without wondering if my sister was judging the centerpieces, because for the first time, I wasn't performing for them. I was present. When we said our vows, I felt something settled deep in my chest. Not rebellion, not revenge, ownership. During the reception, my phone buzzed once in my clutch. I didn't check it. Later that evening, I glanced down at a single unread message from my mom. I hope it was worth it. I stared at the words for a long moment. Then I typed back exactly one sentence. It was no anger, no explanation, just truth. The honeymoon photos went up a week later. Sunset over the Amalfi Coast. Laughter caught mid-motion. My hand wrapped around his steady and certain. I didn't tag my family. I didn't hide it either. 2 days after we returned home, my mom showed up at our apartment unannounced. She stood in the hallway holding a small wrapped box. You could have reached out, she said stiffly. I didn't think you wanted to come, I replied calmly. She looked past me into the apartment, noticing the framed wedding photo already hung on the wall. You really did it without us? She murmured. Yes, not defiant, just factual, she handed me the box. Inside was a silver bracelet I'd once admired years ago. I kept it, she said quietly, for when you got married. I closed the lid gently. You chose not to be there, I said. Her eyes flickered with something I hadn't seen before. Regret, not loud, not dramatic, just present. You could have waited, she whispered. For what? I asked. She didn't answer because there was no good response. I wasn't done begging for a seat at my own life. I was done offering one to people who treated it like optional attendance. And that realization changed everything.